Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's the Jade Gemini. This evening I am super excited to bring you a review of this guy right here. This is the Charlie of Paris, or Charlie Paris Concordia. And today what I'm going to do is talk about what I like, what I love, what I dislike, and if it applies, what is rubbish about this wristwatch right here. Before I do that though, let's go and get some size comparisons out of the way of some watches that are somewhat common or that people have had in the past. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and compare it to a watch which is practically the most perfect watch of all time, everything that you need and nothing that you don't. Of course, I'm talking about the GW-M 5610, a beloved favorite of mine. So, as you can see, much wider at the hips of the 5610 here, the G-Shock, but overall, this is a 38 millimeter lug to lug, or width, sorry. Lug to lug is about 46, 47, so not bad at all. And then the depth of this, as you can see, not too bad. This is about 11.2, right in there. So the G-Shock is kind of known to be a little bit more thin. Next is another sort of outdoorsy explorer type watch, which we'll kind of get into in this review, but the absolute beloved, amazing, incredible, the real Alpinist, the SARB 017 Seiko that I have here. So these watches come in pretty similar action size. Lug to lug is maybe a little bit, barely an nth longer, almost feels the same. And width is the same at about a 38 millimeter as well. The Alpinist, though, gets a heck of a lot thicker than the Concordia. So, some size comparisons out of the way. We'll touch on the Alpinist a little bit later, but with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first thing that I like about this watch a lot is the overall presentation when you get it, right? A lot of watches, sometimes you can get them and they feel a little lackluster. It's something that you get it, comes in like a box that is easily forgettable, and then you just get to the watch, which to a point, you're buying a wristwatch, you're not buying a box, but there's an experience to be had. You know, when you buy that Rolex, right? When you buy that super special edition Seiko or something like this, right? Even some of Citizens, all the way up to, again, super high luxury Omegas and Brightons and Rolex, like I've mentioned, and even higher than that, like APs and Pateks and things. There's this presentation that makes it feel special. It's the kind of same thing when you buy a Chris Reeve knife in the knife world. You remember that because it feels special. So when I got the Charlie, I opened it up, just kind of wanted to touch on, like, when effort's being put in. Well, let's go ahead and give a shout out to that. First, you open up the box. I'm not going to show the front because it just looks like a regular box and has my address, but on the inside, they use a specialized box, has their little logo there, their new logo, as well as some French in the bottom. And then you get this really gorgeous navy blue color. You get a little bag. Inside of the bag, you have some extra links that are in there, as well as a little tool to adjust the watch, which I also like. You do get the screwdriver. When I picked this up on my lunch break at my work, I was able to put this bracelet watch on because it had the tool. You also get a little manual here, Concordia here, which shows a, what is that, a NH35 looks like, or no, that looks like an SW200. So looks the sleeve that's on there, and just some little things about how the watch works. The automatique, the quartz, and the bracelet, and things like that. Really nicely illustrated, really clean. So really cool. And then, box, warranty card, another thing to like, 2-year warranty here. So it's not just 1 year like a lot of watches are. You get a 2-year warranty on the watch itself. Again, really big font. Then you have the really clean experience here. Again, not that this is breaking any worlds here. You're not completely re-engineering anything, but this is a box that can be reused, right? It's kind of nice, little leather pillow dude in here, little link down there, and again, it's just all really nice, right? An experience that you remember. So, definite cool things there. Wanted to get that out of the way. So the next thing that I do like about this watch a lot is its design, right? Just overall. Let's not talk about that yet. But it's just design overall is very just like wristwatch, right? And it is, nice sort of O style bracelet, but they're all slightly kind of chamfered instead of being flat. So it's really nice, really well satined. Also, as well, you have the satining that runs into the lugs as well, a polished bezel, as well as polished sides, as well as polishing on the bracelet here, all the way around. So, pretty nice. Nothing, again, that is done exceptionally different, but at the same time, it's done exceptionally well. So that's something else to like. The other thing that I do like about this watch, of course, is the fact that if you look on the dial, it says 300 meters or 300 meters water resistance. So this is a 30 bar, 300 meter water resistant watch. The legendary Alpinist is 200 meters water resistance, but it's thicker, right? And so this is really, really great that this watch is small, 38 millimeters, is relatively thin, a nice contemporary smaller size at 38, short lug to lug. Wears amazing on the wrist, sits in the middle of the wrist really, really nicely on my 6¼ inch wrist. And yet it is 300 meters water resistant. So you are more than good to go in any situation. It's not just that, oh, I have 50, I have to worry about it, or 100, okay, I'm just meeting that standard, not even 150. You can go in the pool, you can go in the ocean. If you want to jump into the Mediterranean, whatever situation you find yourself in, whatever adventure, if you want to climb a mountain, if you want to go into caves, whatever you're going to find yourself in, this watch can end up doing that with that water resistance. Screw down crown also aids to that as well. Another thing to like is a little cool pop. You do have a touch of brown here, as well as kind of an interesting crown that is also kind of signed with this little, boat inker interesting motif. Doesn't really tie into the brand in any sort of way, but just as interesting, right? I like it. And it also kind of tapers, which is something kind of unique. You don't see that a lot. So that's another thing that I do like a lot as well. So this watch is interesting because there's a lot to love about this watch. So the first thing that I love is that this watch is made in France. There's a couple different reasons to like that. The first one is it's kind of an interesting conversation piece, right? A lot of people know about the Swiss watches, of course. A lot of people know about watches from Japan, or watches that are from Japan that are made elsewhere. Of course, there's watches, tons made in China as well, that are absolutely fantastic, by the way. But again, some Germany's as well. But you just don't hear so much about watches made in France. And there's this kind of revolution that has kind of taken on this kind of new upbringing here with these French micro brands like Charlie that are coming up. And you get this perfect mixture of, the first thing that I love is really good quality. The finishing here is spectacular. The polishing is that uber polishing that just like jumps out at you instead of it being kind of warm and milky like you get sometimes on like Seiko watches, which are fine. They cut the bill, right? But it just has that sort of nth sharper, mirror, complete mirror-like polishing that you get from something that is a little bit higher quality. Really, really nice. Also, the other thing to love is, as we mentioned, the bracelet here is a screw-in solid link bracelet, solid in links, and quick disconnect as well. So if you want to put a strap on to this thing right out of the box, you can easily disconnect and pinch, drop the bracelet, set it aside, and you could throw it on something like this Straps Co. Nubuck bracelet that just wanted to shout out. They sent me in to go ahead and show off on some videos, so go over and show them some love if you're interested in some cool leather options. But you could throw something like this on there and completely change up the watch. That's another reason that it is awesome, is that it is going to be a strap monster with this very sort of conservative design here, you know, a polished bezel, satin brushed, right? This is going to go ahead and fall right into things like the Hamilton khaki field automatic. You're also going to look at things like the Longines Conquest, right? Of course, there's tons of other brands like, again, the Seiko Alpinist as well, kind of in that same sort of thing. And this is where it really falls into a place that I love of what I was looking for when I bought this watch, which is this idea of a GADA watch, right? A go anywhere, do anything. So you have a situation, right, with this watch where, hey, you know what? It's Friday. I'm going into the boardroom. I'm closing out on this deal. You know, we almost percolate these fantasies in our head, but it's kind of fun, right? You go into the boardroom, you know, really executive, or hey, you know, I'm nailing that promotion. I got this really nice looking watch that's unique, that just looks great, that's really super well finished. Everything's perfectly aligned, right? All of that stuff. So I'm closing the deal. Okay, now you know, I'm going to end up flying, taking a trip here. I'm going to, again, jump into the Mediterranean, right? I'm going to put on a leather strap, right? Okay, now I want to go for hike the Alps, right? Or go into the caves. I'm going to throw it on a NATO. It's going to be ultra tough, right? Doesn't really matter on the situation. Now I'm going to go to the opera. So I'm going to put on some alligator or some leather, right? You know, it's all fantasy. It's all fun. But the idea stands that this is just a gotta watch, a go anywhere and do anything watch to cover really any role. And especially with 300 meters water resistance, you can even go snorkeling, right? You could go underwater. Whatever situation you really find yourself, unless you need a dive time bezel, this is going to fit in that role, which is why this watch is so incredible. The other thing that I absolutely love about it is that back to that quality, right? The French seem to really be getting on with quality. So the alignment of the hands when it's at 12 o'clock for the minute, it's practically nearest makes no difference, dead in the middle of the hour marker. While things like this Seiko here are actually fast, like 4 or 5 whole minutes off of being in the middle. And there's been watches that have had from Tissot that's come in, and even Hamilton that'll have worse alignment than what this has, right? So you're getting a insane amount of quality, the great finishing, something that feels like that next level over your just sort of Seiko or, you know, something like that. And again, I'm a big Seiko fan, but it kind of stands that this does feel like a different quality piece. The other thing about this that really kind of cements that whole idea of this GADA watch, right? Again, is this idea of what's in the heart of this. We've been looking at this and going tick, 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 just like this as well. Except this has a 6R15 automatic that beats at 3 hertz, 5 times a second roughly. This beats 4 times a second. And that's because this isn't an automatic at all. This is Seiko's VH31 Mecha Quartz movement. That's right. This is a quartz watch, battery powered. But it doesn't have that ugly 1 time a second click over. This beats smoothly 4 times a second. So at this point, you now have this perfect mixture of completing that GADA watch. If I want to wear something that's nice, or I want to wear the G-Shock, when I'm at work to time my breaks or to do workouts or whatever. On the weekend, I just pick this up and it's going. And it's quartz accurate. It's dead on the second, right? It might be 1 second off in a month. The other thing is it's more anti-magnetic, more shock resistant than automatic movements as well. They usually have to have a lot more money put into them to be more anti-magnetic, and you're probably still not going to beat this thing. Again, it's also going to be more accurate over the long haul as well. And easier to maintenance. You could open this up yourself if you wanted to. After that time, replace the battery and put it back together. Now, you'd probably still have to get it water tested, but it still stands the concept here of the sort of perfect overall watch. Again, there's other little attention to details as well that are really awesome. I love the fact that, again, with this bracelet, you get female in link, so it just sits so nicely on the wrist instead of male in links, as you can see, that actually press out like this. These actually fold in, just hugging the wrist all the better and feeling more comfortable on the wrist. Usually I take bracelets off right away off of watches, wear it on an Ado, and then get the bracelet on sometime in the future. But with the easy to adjust and the easy to wear, it's just something that's really nice. You also have a nice milled clasp as well here, as well as a fold over piece right here. And it is a more sort of traditional snap, which some might not like. I don't mind because it does have the fold over as well with an extra air confidence. Of course, all in all, we can't talk about the watch. The Charlie Paris, the Dune, without talking about the Dune dial. This fantastic looking waved brown dial that hits the light in different ways, sometimes gets little airs of tan in there. Is really just something else. And it has nice cream lume as well. Just an absolute stunner, something different, something that isn't the same. And this watch comes in gorgeous colors as well. I almost thought, man, I love this so much. Maybe I should just pick up the blue someday as well. Just how gorgeous this looks. They also have other colors as well, but this one's definitely the one that spoke to me, being such a big fan of tans and things like that. Also, if we do turn off the lights, it does have good lume as well. That definitely shines through. Some cream looms don't shine very well, but this is easily like a 7, on the scale, or something like that, 7, 8. So at night, you can easily see this. There's no sort of problem with that. And I also love that there's a distinction. Kind of interesting, they didn't put a triangle here. They put 5 dots, but you got at the 3, the 9, and the 6 bars, so you can easily direction orientate in the middle of the night, not get confused on what time it is. The hands are also really well done as well, not only with the lume, but with these beautiful high polish on all the indices, as well as these chamfered sort of edged hands, so they're not just flat, catches the light. That's really, really fun. You can also tell that it's stepped right here where they put Concordia, and even stepped around the entirety of the dial for every minute marker that is 3D. There's just little nuances, applied emblem as well, but little nuances, again, just that next level of detail and quality that you just don't find at a watch that is this price. That's the other thing that you need to come in here, is that this watch comes in, again, probably some sourced parts, like naturally a movement that's probably made in China or Japan by Seiko, not their own proprietary movement, of course. And you probably have a crystal that might be from China and some sourced parts that are also from there as well. But again, a lot of brands do this these days that are sometimes way higher and don't even say it. They just say Swiss made, right? But with this actually being assembled in France, quality control that you can feel, you can see right in the flesh, right? Kind of unique little designs that make it a little bit different. It's kind of, a little bit more of a safe design, but that's a good thing, right? An OP that's like a mountain climber that has that explorer, literally that explorer genre, that GADA genre, like the explorer or the alpinist, that are the two kings of that genre, I feel, right up there. And again, they even gave this to someone to go to the Antarctic that was a French explorer. So it has a mild amount of heritage as well that they wanted to pack in when they made this. So really cool, all the different things that they're doing here. And you're getting this for right at around $400, maybe even, closer to 470, 370, the less than that, if I can remember correctly. So just absolutely incredible, outstanding. Just something that is such a cool watch that I get excited to put on and be like, wow, I own that. That's really something to be proud of and show off. What an amazing watch. Of course, though, not every single watch is perfect, and this one is not either. So there are some different little nuances to maybe have qualms about. The first one is the obvious. It's a quartz. So even though it has a smooth beat, you could say, well, that's a cheap quartz movement, and you're buying this watch that is $400. So what if that movement goes bad? Well, at that point, you could just buy another movement, have a watchmaker move everything over, and probably still be cheaper than a servicing of an automatic watch. But some people might still say, I like to have the idea of that ticking going away on the inside. So it could be something to dislike. Again, there are benefits in every way, even the thinness overall of this watch itself, but something that I want to kind of call out for the more general audience out there. The next thing is that the thing I do dislike quite a bit is this AR. They have AR on the outside, not just the inside. And this thing is a fingerprint magnet. There's so much time where I'm like, wow, is there like water or moisture on the inside of the dot? Oh, there's not. It's just that's like my fingerprints that are stuck on the top. There's never really been a watch that I've actually had to like clean the fingerprints so I can read the time. It's not that bad. If you actually need to read the time, you can. But again, it's very distracting. So I wish it just had the AR on the inside, not on the outside. That way I also don't have to worry about it like wearing off down the line. Again, is that going to happen with the modern AR? Maybe, maybe not. But just something to keep in mind, right? The other thing, again, it doesn't have the sort of dual click clasp like this, where you have buttons. So you could be worried that this kind of older style technology where it clicks in here, this could like wear out or bend. Again, it does also have this detent that holds it in place, so I don't think it's gonna like break like an old 1970s Jubilee bracelet or something like that. But I digress. It's something that I noticed, and I'm like, okay. The other thing is that there's not a micro adjust. You only get 4, which is okay, right? I would like to see 6 or more, or maybe like a half link, something to consider. But an up on them that did, again, kind of give an extra air of quality is I kind of picked out my wrist size. So this came just about pre-adjusted. I didn't even have to take anything off of this side, only this side, to be able to get it right, which was something that felt really cool. So that was something that was a little nicer as well. And again, just kind of gave a little bit of an air of quality. I do also like the case back as well. That's something I wanted to say as well. Nicely done there too. So really not too much to dislike otherwise. Those are really just sort of little nitpicks. Take that guy off. So where does that leave us? Well, really, I think I've done a good job at this being kind of unbiased. This watch is kind of special to me. I actually bought it on the night of the Paris Olympics, the opening ceremony, as a matter of fact. I just had been thinking about this watch and been like, maybe not. So then I went back on there that night and been like, I'm going to buy that watch because it's French, and these are the French Olympics coming up. And that regular flat brown dial was gone and the Dune was there. And I'm like, there we go. So I pre-ordered it, and I'm so glad that I did. So this is an amazing watch, a watch that you could buy and keep for years, get serviced, hand it down with the quality that you have. This could also be your first entry into your first sort of next level watch. This could be a watch if you have 100 different watches and just wanted something that's like a nice everyday watch that again, didn't spend multi-$1,000s on. Whatever category of enthusiast that you're in, this watch is very well made, very well priced, and darn good looking at it, in my opinion. So I just think that Charlie, if you're like, that's kind of weird brand, haven't really heard of that, haven't really seen that, I think they've knocked it out of the park, and that this is definitely a hidden gem that you should be taking a look at. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. One I've been excited to be able to throw together as I've been loving this watch, getting to know it. Finally can give you guys a solid review of this guy. So if you like this video, please feel free to go and give a like as well as subscribe, as it really helps the channel. Can't believe we're almost at 3,000 subscribers listening to me ramble. Just doesn't make any sense, and I vehemently thank you guys. Of course, also comment down below. I love answering any questions or fellowshipping with you guys when you do have any questions. Most importantly, though, I hope everybody stays safe. Has a beautiful rest of your weekend. You guys take care. Peace.